Hey everybody! When I first made the video of my top 10 best action JRPGs, I promised there will be another video, like another top 10. And today is that day. And it's just there are so many great action JRPGs in every single console, especially for the PS2 and onward. And I just gotta talk about all of them. One video is not enough, but the previous video that I made includes my 10 favorite action JRPGs. So this one, you may consider it to be from number 20 to 11, or just plain another top 10, a different top 10. So let's get this started. All of these games are extremely good recommendations. Maybe some of these are your favorite games. All of these games are great. These are a few of my favorites actually as well. And I wanted to make this second video precisely because of that, because there's just so many great action JRPGs out there that need to be talked about. And well, I'm gonna start with number 10, and it's a game that I didn't include in my previous video of the top 10 action JRPGs. And I know a lot of people are mad because of that. A lot of people were wondering what happened to this game. It should be on any top 10 action JRPGs video. Well, now I decided to put it on this video because I'm not really a fan of that game, but I really liked it, I enjoyed it, and I consider it to be a really great game, and I know a lot of you consider it to be a masterpiece. And that is Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles is a game that I'm not going to say revolutionized the RPG gaming industry, but it did include something that attracted a lot of people to the genre. And I am so happy because of we need games like this to make people play them, to make people approach the genre and to play more and more JRPGs. So, however, I don't consider this game to be a good starter, because it's not easy. It's not an easy game. It's not a really hard game. But I would recommend, if you're going to get into the RPG genre or even the action JRPG genre, I would recommend other games. Not precisely Xenoblade Chronicles, but I still think it's a good beginning. This game there was also a port for the new Nintendo 3DS. I haven't played that. I have heard good reviews about it. I'm not sure if it's good enough, as good as the Wii version. I have the Wii version, I play the Wii version. That's just what I have. And there's the hype for the Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And it has received a lot of criticism. I haven't played it. I must play it one day to have my own opinion. I played Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. It's very different. It's a good game, but it's very different. And I think this game, the Nintendo Wii version, the first Xenoblade Chronicles, stands on its own. It's a wonderful game. Everybody should play this game because it really is a masterpiece. Like I said in my overrated video, it's overrated. I am not going to swallow my words on that. I still think it's an overrated game, but it has a very good reason to be overrated because it's just that great. So number 9 are two games, but they are sequels and the gameplay is exactly the same, and those are Phantasy Star Universe 1 and 2. Phantasy Star 1 is pretty well known actually. It also came out on the Xbox 360, and after what happened with the Dreamcast version, which is Phantasy Star Online, they thought they changed the genre. These are games that started as turn-based JRPGs for the Sega Genesis, and then the Phantasy Star Online happened for the Sega Dreamcast, and that was an action JRPG. So they saw that it was great, that people had liked it, so they made for the PS2 the Universe version. It didn't do so well as far as I remember, but it's still a great action JRPG. It has a really good story, and the sequel is the one that actually really belongs on this top 10 on my list, because to me, yeah, I know a lot of you are going to disagree, but to me, it's a much better game. I don't know what happened that I enjoyed it better, I liked it better. Maybe it's because there's more variety of characters, party members, and you create your own character, because in the first one there's the protagonist, which is Ethan Weaver, and the second one you create your own character and you're the protagonist. I'm not sure it was because of that, I just don't know. I like the second one better, and the second one is totally a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know it exists, a lot of people don't know there's a sequel to the first one, and ironically they know the PSP versions, which are considered to be Phantasy Star Universe 3 and 4. So these are great games, give them a chance. They're hack and slash action JRPGs, extremely good, extremely addicting. They are hard, they are challenging, they are not easy or not too hard, they're just a decent challenge. Okay, number 8 is another game that includes 2 games, so I'm sort of cheating here, and that is Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. If you watch my overrated video, you probably noticed that I included Tales of Symphonia 1. I am not very fond of that game. I liked it, I finished it, but it was just a good RPG. And again, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I think, yes, cover your ears if you want to, but I think Tales of Symphonia 2 is better than the first one. I think the story is more solid, I think the story is more dark. I mean, in the first one, the story is not dark at all, but in the second one, it's a dark story, and I really like that. I'm into dark stuff, gothic stuff, and all that jazz. And even though the protagonists are very annoying, I mean, Emil and Martha are like a pain in the ass the entire game, and that's what threw most people off, I still think it's a great game. There's not much difference in my opinion between the second and the first one. They are both great games. I really enjoy them, but yes, I think the second one is slightly better than the first one. Hate me all you want, that's just my opinion. And why are the same, the two of them on the same list? Because as you can see, this is one game. But the one that I really wanted to put on this list is Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World, the second one. The first one deserves to be on the list because you can't really talk about the second one without talking about the first one. But whatever. Number 7 is a game that... is this game an RPG? What do you think? I want you to put in the comment section below what do you think about this game, if you consider this to be an RPG or just a plain action hack and slash game, and that is Drakengard 3. Now, I like the first 2 games, Drakengard 1 and 2 for the PS2. The first one, I know it has a lot of fans, and I know a lot of people love that game. I didn't. I really found that game to be pretty mediocre. It's not a bad game at all, it's a good game, but I just didn't like it. Even though it's dark, it's the darkest of the 3. And the second one, I really enjoyed it, but something turned me off. It just became repetitive. And the third one, it has a lot of charisma, it has great characters, great story, everything. It's a very overly sexualized game in every single way, not just because of the girls. Like everything, this is a very obscene game. The language they use in this game is very obscene. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just going to say that there's the protagonist has like 6 or 7 sisters, and each one of them has their own slave, their own assistant, but they make it seem in the game as if they were their sex slaves. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They crossed the line in this game, they went over the top on this game. It's just very obscene, but it's still awesome. Like the battle system in this game is so addicting. Now, then the question remains open. Is this an RPG? Is this just an action game with RPG elements? I'm not sure. The creators of this game say it's an RPG, so who are we to argue about that? So if they say it's an RPG, it's an RPG. It's still a great game, I really recommend it, totally worth it. Play it. Number 6 is Rogue Galaxy. I really like this game. I finished it, I beat it, that was like about 10 years ago, and I haven't touched it ever since. If you watch my review of this game, you will notice why I haven't played it ever since. If you notice my top 10 JRPGs that made me rage quit, but that I beat, this game is included in there. Because unfortunately, in my opinion, it is not as great as people make it seem so. I like the game, I enjoy it. I consider this game to be a great game, but it has a few flaws that can frustrate your entire experience. To me, this is not a game in which you're playing hours after hours, like 2 or 3 hours in a row. You play this game for half an hour, maybe an hour, and you get tired because it's so fucking tedious. Don't get me wrong, it's a great game and I totally recommend it. I respect when people say that it's a masterpiece, that it's a great game. I just disagree, that's all. But it's still on my list because, like I said, I really enjoy this game. I liked it. It's a wonderful game. It's an open world game. And I think it's a strong title for the PS2 and everybody should play it. I don't think it's a hidden gem, like many people make it seem so, but it's still a gem nonetheless, a great game. Give it a chance. Number 5 is, there can be videos about action JRPGs without Star Ocean, and I had to include the second one. In my previous video I only put the fourth one, Star Ocean: The Last Hope, because it's my favorite of the entire franchise. But the very first one, Star Ocean, that I played in my life was this one, Star Ocean 2 for the PlayStation 1. There is a remake. I'm not sure it's just a port. No, I think it's a remake for the PSP. It's called Star Ocean Second Evolution. I haven't played it, and because the first version, the PlayStation 1 version, the second story, left me pretty satisfied. It's an extremely hard game. Yeah, trust me. It got this close to be included on my Rage Quit video because it has a few boss battles that just drive you insane. But if you can leave that aside, or if you like a good challenge, you're gonna really love this game. It's really good. I strongly recommend the Star Ocean series. They are heavily criticized because they are just, I don't know, people make it seem as if they were clones of the Tales of series. Ironically, the people that created Tales of Phantasia created Star Ocean, so you have to play this game. If you haven't played any Star Ocean, you might as well start with this one, because each one of them are hard. Maybe you could start with the PSP version of the first Star Ocean, which is First Departure, but any Star Ocean is fine. They're all great games, great stories, a little fan service here and there, and a decent challenge. So number 4 is gotta be another Tales of. Tales of is one of my favorite action JRPG series, if not my favorite. I think it is. Yeah, now that I think about it, the Tales of is my favorite action JRPG series of all time. So of course there's gotta be a lot of these games in the list, and the 4th place now on this new top, it goes for Tales of the Abyss. Now Tales of the Abyss is a game that is, as well as Tales of Legendia, was heavily criticized because of the story. Everything is okay with this game, the music, the battle system, the gameplay, everything is cool. It feels like a true Tales of game. But the people criticize the story because the main character is a total jackass. He's an asshole, but he's an asshole that over time grows up and stops being an asshole. And therefore the other characters start behaving like assholes towards him. So a lot of people didn't like that. I did. I really disliked the character, but I also disliked how his friends started treating him badly. But anyway, it's a story that helps people realize that people can grow up, people can change, people can come to realize their own mistakes and become just into maturity. And I really like that about this game. So it's strongly recommended. The battle system in this game is really good. I think it's slightly superior to Tales of Symphonia or previous games. Try it. You should definitely give this game a chance because it's just really good. Okay, so my last 3. Number 3 is another Star Ocean. This was my favorite Star Ocean until I played The Last Hope. This was one of the first Star Oceans that I played, and it left me. I am very fond of this game because I really like the story, despite being another heavily criticized story by the fans because it's a little bizarre. It has a plot twist near the end that leaves people like, what the fuck? But really, I really like the characters, especially Maria. Maria in this game is one of my favorite characters, and I am so disappointed that they don't show her on the manual in the characters section. They don't show her, and I have no fucking clue why, since technically half of the story revolves around her. The story is around the Fate, which is the main character, and her. And they made it seem as if Sophia, I think was her name, is the protagonist, and she's totally a unimportant character in the entire game. The protagonist, the true protagonists of this game are Faith and Maria. But, you know, whatever. This is Tri-Ace we're talking about. They always make things to piss off their fans. I have no idea why. But anyway, Star Ocean 3, a great game. Hard. Not as hard as the second one, but still hard nonetheless. Play it if you can, because it's a really great game. My number 2 goes to another game that I'm really fond of, that it's really fun, that when I first played this game I fell in love with it, and that is Radiata Stories. Radiata, whatever you wish to pronounce it. Another game by Tri-Ace, another game published by Square Enix. And you know, Tri-Ace and I have sort of like a love-hate relationship, because I used to love their games from Star Ocean 4 and below, but once they released Resonance of Fate or Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume, I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, Radiata Story is one of my favorite action JRPGs of all time. It's a beautiful game. People compare this game to Suikoden because there are just so many characters to recruit, and that's actually the point of this game, because the story of this game is a story for kids, I think. It doesn't have anything psychological, anything dark, anything mature. It's just, I think it's the perfect JRPG for kids. But even if you are going to criticize the story of this game, that's not the point, because the point of this game is that you are a protagonist that lives in a city and you have to recruit. You don't have to, it's not indispensable, but the point of this game is to recruit all of these characters. And there's like 160, 170 characters, because the game has 2 routes. If you choose the human route, you get the option to recruit every single human character in your town. And if you choose the non-human route, you get to recruit every single non-human character out there. So it's a really fun game. It has a special dungeon at the end, and there's a boss, and it's a little spoiler, but I have to say it, forgive me, because I need you to get into this game. I need to get you into this game because it's so goddamn good. You can fight Lenneth Valkyrie from Valkyrie Profile, and if you beat her, you can recruit her. So imagine having Lenneth in your party. That's just awesome, man. This is a wonderful game. It's a beautiful game. Play it. It's strongly recommended. And lastly, for my number 1 is another Tales game. This is also one of my favorite Tales of games. It's Tales of Graces. I have the PAL version because the PAL version comes with original soundtrack and behind the scenes. Like you can see right here, this is the game and the soundtrack. This is supposed to be another limited edition, special edition. It also is supposed to come with an art book, but I don't have that. I got this version as it is, right, as you can see right now. But anyways, Tales of Graces F is a remake of the Wii version. Tales of Graces for the Wii never came out of Japan, so most of us only got to play this version, which is absolutely amazing. It's a very, very beautiful game. Like, to me, is the most unique Tales of the entire franchise. It's not my favorite, but it's the most unique because you start with the characters as when they are kids, and you play with them as kids during like 5 hours or something, and then they are teens, and then they are adults. It's like 3 different phases of this game. None of the other Tales have that. So this is a wonderful game. The battle system is really challenging. It's just different. It's not your typical hack and slash games like in many other Tales of games. It's just very unique. It's still hack and slash, but I think it's combo biased, something like that. And it can be quite challenging. A lot of people criticized that game because of that. At first, I didn't like the battle system, but once you get used to it, you love it. You get so used to it that you start loving it. I strongly recommend this game because it's one of the most beautiful Tales of ever made. Really, seriously. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. And don't forget to give these games a chance if you have, or if you haven't. I mean, if you have played these games before, give them another chance. And if you haven't, give them a chance. What are you waiting for? These are 10 wonderful recommendations They are technically 12 games. I cheated, but whatever. And as always, I want to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. See you next time.